Girlfriend, 21F, he is furious at me, 21M, after my grandmother spoke badly and derogatorily about her in Spanish right in front of her. I've been dating this girl, we'll call her Olivia, for 4 months. She is of Jamaican descent but born in the US. I was born in Cuba but came to the States when I was 1. I would say I'm very, very Americanized, though I grew up speaking Spanish at home. The area we currently live in doesn't have many Latino people, so it's not assumed that people understand Spanish. When I started dating her, I asked her if she could speak Spanish and she said, not really, and that her Spanish sucked, and we didn't really address it further. I was really eager to introduce her to my family as I thought my mom and dad would love her and they had been asking about her for a while. So I invited them to our house for dinner with my mom, my dad, my grandmother and my teenage brother. My abuela can't speak English much at all, but everyone else can. My abuela can be very judgmental and cranky and basically an asshole at times, especially since her husband died and then she had a stroke 3 years ago. I told her before to be nice. However, I also told them she couldn't speak Spanish because that's what I assumed. So Olivia came over and everything was going good for the most part. She got along well with my family and my mom especially was super nice to her. However, my grandmother decided she was in a nasty mood and started talking shit about her. She said that she didn't expect Olivia to be so dark and how she looked more African. She asked if she came from a good family, and said if my grandfather was alive he would not approve of her and it's better to date a girl who can speak Spanish since and most black people won't even bother to learn it. She even said that my last girlfriend was much prettier than her. This is honestly blatantly untrue. Olivia is gorgeous and most people say so. She made sure not to make it obvious she was talking about her and didn't gesture to her at all and mostly faced the TV when she spoke. I was mortified and couldn't believe she was saying all this. I told her to stop twice, but since I assumed Olivia didn't understand her, I mostly brushed it off and tried to ignore her since I didn't want to make a scene and I didn't want to make it apparent to Olivia that she was talking about her. Olivia is the biggest sweetheart but is really insecure and has suffered from anxiety in the past. And I just didn't want to make it worse. My mom told her to be quiet as well, but my grandmother just did not give a fuck and continues with snide comments. To make things worse, my dad and brother just laughed at the absurdity of the situation. I don't think they really found it funny, but it was more of a there she goes again, crazy abuela type thing. Olivia acted pleasant for most of the night but then suddenly claimed she had migraines and she needed to leave. She thanked them all but left in a hurry. I already suspected she could understood some of what was said and I felt terrible. After she left, I told off my grandmother for how she acted. I tried calling Olivia that night, but she ignored my calls until the next evening when she finally answered. I asked if she was okay and she admitted that she took Spanish for 5 years and although she has no confidence to speak it, her Spanish comprehension is fairly good. I apologized profusely but she was angry. She was mad since I didn't tell her I had a racist family. She was mad that my dad and brother laughed at her expense and was furious that I didn't defend her or stand up to my grandmother. I tried to explain the whole not wanting to cause a scene thing but she didn't buy it at all. She said she felt like an idiot because her friend told her a lot of Cubans are racist and she defended me so much and accused her friend of being a bigoted jerk and how much I embarrassed her and made her feel like crap. So I just don't know what to do to fix this. She is furious at me and I understand why, but I was really serious with her and in love with her. We work so well together. I don't want to lose her over this. I feel like she thinks my whole family are racist assholes as well when it's definitely not the case. My abuela sucks but my family has no choice but to put up with her. My mom and dad do not have a racist bone in their body and my brother isn't either. I agree my dad and brother were shitty for laughing at my grandmother's rants but they didn't know what else to do and were more laughing at how obnoxious she was being. Is there any way I can possibly come back from this? Anyone have similar experiences? I just don't know what to do to make it up to her. She really is angry and I feel like I hurt her a lot. TLDR, invited my black girlfriend to my family's home. My grandmother was an asshole and said racist comments about her in Spanish thinking that she couldn't understand. I didn't say much to defend her because I didn't want to cause a scene and I also assumed she couldn't understand. Turns out she did and is now furious at me. I'm not sure what to do. People gave me a really hard time in my original post and it really made me realize how much of a dumbass I was being. I apologized profusely to Olivia and called out my extremely stupid behavior and basically begged for forgiveness. After a couple more days of being mad at me, she was willing to talk to my parents and my brother, who apologized and told her that they really loved her and that they didn't mean to hurt her. They tried to explain the situation with my grandmother and why she behaved the way she did and they were just trying to minimize drama, but that what she was saying was wrong and they should have stood up to her. My mother got her a gift set from Bath and Body Works, costume jewelry and chocolate to go along with the apology. So Olivia did forgive me and my family, which I am so relieved about because I really am crazy about this girl. I'm definitely not going to take this for granted. A week ago my brother, Olivia, and I went to an amusement park and my brother and her actually got along really well and she's definitely convinced he doesn't secretly hate black people. I never thought my brother was racist. When he was in middle school he dated a black girl. He's only 15 so I definitely don't blame him for what happened. It was my dad's fault for laughing. But yeah, he really likes her and is glad she doesn't hate him. My mom invited Olivia to a beach with our family on Saturday. My abuela stayed at home, and although she mostly stayed by me and my brother, she seemed to get along reasonably with my parents and seems to believe their apology. She was a bit hesitant to go. I have told my grandmother that if she wants me to be actively part of her life she must apologize to Olivia. My grandmother actually agreed to apologize, but my GF doesn't want to talk to her and I told her I will not force her to be around her, but I did tell her that my grandmother is sorry for the way she behaved. So yeah, that's my update. I appreciate all the replies no matter how harsh. It really made me realize my stupidity. Still have a lot of growing up to do, but I am really happy she took me back. TLDR, Olivia forgave me after my parents and I apologized and we are still together. She still understandably doesn't want to talk to my grandmother though.